I'm gonna wait a second. Let this call some people in. Because I'm about to go to... I'm gonna go to town on something right quick. Don't go nowhere, because this one's going to be good. Don't go nowhere. I'm just waiting for a few more people to pop up in here. Here we go. Let me let y'all in on a really, 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 really bad thing that we do to each other. And we don't even realize that we do it until we've caused the wound that can't be healed anymore. These blanket statements about each other, we have to stop it. I just fully unfriended like faux brothers just for making blanket freaking statements. One was women are the gateway. Women are in cahoots with Satan. Women are the gateway to hell. Why do I want to be your ally and that's what you think of me? Because I'm a woman. So basically, you just told me that I'm in cahoots with Satan. I mean, even though I couldn't get into hell if I tried. Because Satan don't want me there. I'll take over. That's just what it is. Or I can't find a good woman. Are you a good man? Because good men, sometimes they find good women. I can't. Y'all don't like me. Who is y'all? She don't like you. Stop making these blanket statements. We killing each other behind this shit. For real, for real. Ain't a light-skinned sister got nothing for me. Nigga, you right. I ain't got nothing for you. Because if I was coming to help you, now that you've given me my own manifest destiny, why should I? I can't deal with no Muslims. Okay. Because the day you need one is going to be the day you worried why you said that. Exactly, Karen. If I was the gateway to hell, I am Satan. But my thing is, how enlightened are you that you don't think that that's you too? If I am such a gateway, if I am such a bad thing to be a woman, why is it the universe saw fit that I hold the child for 9 months? I give birth to the child. I feed the child. All the first lessons come from me. If I am such a bad influence, why you want my nana? If I am such a bad influence, why you sniffing around my na? You should be the most celibate motherfucking men on Facebook. Women are ignorant. Since when? Call your mama ignorant, nigga. I'm far from it. How many enemies do we make amongst ourselves with these blanket statements? Watch yourself with them blanket statements. How about this? Let's do this exercise. Instead of talking about everybody, only talk about yourself. Woo! Tell on yourself. All these niggas, be specific about what a nigga is in your life before you start throwing blanket statements. He need to be a good daddy. Hey. Be more specific about what a good daddy is, because remember, he was good enough to lay down with. At one point, he was good enough that you opened your legs for. At one point, he was good enough that you and he became one person. And now all of a sudden you got vile in your face for this man? Well, maybe you shouldn't have laid down with him. Same for the brothers. You mean to tell me you went to sleep with this woman and now all of a sudden she skank? What that make you, nigga? Because you chose her. You chose so much that you ran up in the rabbit hole. But now she stank. Maybe you should have made that assessment before you went all up in it. But I'm under the impression that once you done had sex with somebody, you don't have the right to talk about them no more, because y'all were one person. So every time you speak badly about that person, guess who else you speaking badly about? Because that was your decision making. I can't find a good man. It's because you're not a good woman. Clean your shit up. I can't find an obedient woman. It's because you're not an obedient man. Like attracts like. And throwing the Bible at me, throwing the Quran at me, and any other holy text don't work for me, because my next question is, you really need a book to know what's right and wrong? You really need a book. You need somebody else to tell you what is right and what is wrong. Freaking blanket statements. All y'all fucked up. Well, if they're a reflection of you, guess what? You fucked up too. Even more fucked up since you called it. You like that ring? Jade, baby. Jade, sterling silver. Made it myself. Them blanket statements. Ain't no black men to marry in the black community. No, that's because you not marriage material yet. I mean, amongst my friends, I thought I would be the one that wouldn't get married. I was the first and only one to do so. Like attracts like. The truth don't give a shit about what you think your opinion is. The law of the universe don't give a rat stank doody-doo whether you know its laws or not, because it is going to work within its laws whether you know it or not. Now, you can play the game or you can get played, one or the other. Knowing the law, not knowing the law is not an excuse. And let me go on these blanket statements. Let me tell y'all about these freaking women statements right here. And it always comes from this perspective of Eve fucked up. Eve was the downfall of all mankind. Well, wait a minute. You only read one story, and you read a skewed story, because Eve is the third woman that was given to Adam. The first one was made with the stuff that he was made of at the same time, because God made two of everything. For some reason, as you read that book, it says God made two of everything. Well, yes, he did. That is wisdom. But then all of a sudden, he only makes one man? That don't even follow the rule. Okay, so let's say God followed his own law. He made two. So this woman is called Lilith in all of the histories. If you go back, her name is some derivative of the word Lilith. Now, Lilith was schooled by God, just like Adam was, in the ways of how to live in Eve. She was just as powerful as he was and taught by the same teacher. They were one unit. But as Adam went through, there were things that Lilith wanted to do sexually that he didn't feel comfortable with because he didn't see it anywhere in nature, not realizing that we're slightly above the animals themselves. So she took it upon herself to go to the Creator and say, hey, this is not working out for me. I'm not equal here. Even though I am equal in power, you taught me equally at his side. He doesn't treat me as such. God allowed her to walk out of the garden intact. If you want to know where those people came from, after Cain slew Abel and Cain went out, because Adam and Eve were only supposed to be the only two there, right? You wonder where he found his wife. There were women that went before Eve that went out and populated. Who's to say that she wasn't pregnant when she left? Who's to say God didn't bless her womb as he blessed every other woman in the Bible who couldn't have children? After all, he is the Creator, right? Right. Okay, so Lilith leaves and man is alone. I always wondered why they put in there he was alone, because if he was born alone, he wouldn't know what alone was. But somehow he knows what alone is. So, and there's a change of state, which means he had a companion. But that's just me being logical, moving on. God says, okay, I'm going to make you a woman to your specifications. So he lets him in on creation. How the bones are formed, how the sinew is made, how the veins process, how the organs work. Let him in on the whole of creation of a woman. When she was made, she was not as beautiful as Lilith, the first creation, but as God said, she was good. So God taught her, independent of Adam. And she was allowed to roll through the garden with Adam as a companion. But Adam saw how she was formed and he couldn't get it out of his mind. So she was a little repulsive because every time he looked at her, he saw her insides instead of her. So, suffering this for a while, she goes to her Creator, who always walked in the garden in the Eve. And with his student, she too was allowed to leave without a name. She was never named. But she too was allowed to leave. So God, working on his third woman for Adam, turns around and go, okay, man, tell you what, I'm just going to put you in a deep sleep. And just to make sure that you can't reject this one, I'm going to take a little piece of you and make her. Therefore, you will always try to want her because she has a piece of you within her. So, Eve was made from a piece of Adam. Some say a rib. Some say just a string of DNA. Some say just piece of saliva. They're stories, but you have to filter them. And mind you, again, I'm just telling you a story. I can't prove it. I'm just telling you a story. Now, after Eve is made, Adam is put to sleep so he doesn't see it. So the mistake with the second one doesn't happen. He wakes up, Eve is fully formed, and God goes, this is bone of your bone and flesh of your flesh. You must teach her. Side note, remember, God taught the first two. He is now giving the education of this woman to man. Back to story. Okay. So Adam takes her and he begins to teach her. There's a difference in being taught by a master and being taught by a master's apprentice. Some nuances get lost in the lessons because the apprentice is not a master yet. So Eve walks through the garden and she was beguiled. That's what they say. She was beguiled by the serpent. Well, had she been taught by the master, the serpent wouldn't have beguiled her because she had been taught by the master. But because she was taught by a master's apprentice, she didn't have what we call the full armor of the Lord. There were a couple lessons missing. And even in her missing those lessons, remember, she still took the apple back to her teacher. He could have corrected her right then, right there. But he didn't. He too, knowing that he was taught by the master what not to do, because the serpent didn't beguile him, serpent didn't even come nowhere near him. Couldn't touch him because he was taught by the master. But Eve was not. But even upon that, she went to her teacher. She asked him, and he too bit the apple. Now, I have to ask you, as a master and as a teacher, if my student comes to me and says, "Hey, Master Fee, is this how we do horse stance?" And their feet are at a 45-degree angle, their back is slouched, and I go, "Yeah, that's good." No, it is not. As a master, I have to say, that's bull. Man, straighten your feet, straighten your back, square your shoulders off, and just because you showed me that crap, hold it for 30 minutes. And go about my business. And when I come back, his legs should look like paper blowing in the wind. But that's the difference in teachings. So is it her fault? Is it her fault that she was beguiled by the serpent? Yes and no. That's why I always say how misunderstood Eve is. So when men start talking about women are the gateway to this, this, and this, I have to say, oh, brother, but hold on. We only going by your teachings. So it's not me that's flawed. It's your teaching. So now the ball back in your court. Now who to blame? Y'all still blaming Satan. You don't blame the created. You blame the creator. Satan is not God. But y'all won't blame God for Satan's shit. No, no, no. You blame Satan. No, blame the creator. You didn't know? Well, I'm finding out I know a lot of things that people just whoop. It just whoa. It just go right past them. But this comes from doing independent research outside of the shit people keep shoving down your face. Yes, I am a daughter of Lilith. I am not a daughter of Eve. I'm the daughter of the first woman educated by the God himself. That is my line. I am not of the line of Eve. I was not raised by a man. I was raised by God. And that's what makes me me. I can stand alone because I was raised by God. I was given God lessons. I know what the God sounds like. I made my deal, but I made my deal with the one. And everything I want, I get. Because I am subservient. I am obedient to the law. Because I know the law. Man cannot shake me on my law. Man cannot override the law of God. Because that means you can throw the very universe out of formation. And you can't box with God. Your arms aren't long enough. Watch your blanket statements. We killing each other with these blanket statements. Stop. You making enemies before you even make friends with blanket statements. How am I supposed to give a man my power that believes I'm the devil? Fuck you. But if you believe I'm the devil, that means you don't recognize God. So you ain't from my house anyway. Get your ass in the wind. There's 13 tribes. Maybe you and I don't belong to the same one. But you can't tell me how to work in my tribe either. You can't tell me how my tribe works if you're from another one. So miss me with that. How are we supposed to hold each other up and I know you think I'm Satan? Most of us are women. So what? We supposed to cower? No, Satan don't cower. Think about what you saying, brothers. Think about what you saying. No, they're 13 to be exact. They're 12 tribes of Judah. See, here is where stuff started getting just a little out of place. They're 12 tribes of Judah, but they're 13 tribes of the gods. Judah is just one house. I don't know why everybody think they freaking special. God love everybody. He made everybody. Everybody got a house. But they're 13 houses. Everybody forgets the center position. Everything spouts from a center. One. Then you get the 12 around it. That still makes 13. You're welcome. So when you speak, that's why when people start talking, they even confuse me. I'm like, wait a minute. Are they talking about the houses of the gods or are they talking about the houses of Judah? Because Judah got 13, but the tribes of the gods got 13. The house of Judah is just one of them. Judah wasn't the only one that was blessed. For some reason, everybody think that, their house is the only one blessed. Come on, man. What? And to be honest, the tribe of Judah fell off. Y'all fell off. You fell off. I ain't scared to tell you. A lot of y'all houses fell off. For lack of discipline. For lack of even being able to call your line. How about that one? Y'all don't even know your names. Well, better yet, you didn't even know there were 13 tribes of God. You thought there were 12 tribes of Judah, and it stopped there. Judah just one house. So, why everybody, you're going to hell. Sister, it already sound like you in hell. I don't know what hell is. I've been too obedient to even think about hell. But see, that's the problem. Most of y'all are more afraid of the devil than you love God. Everybody's so afraid of going to hell that you won't do the shit to do to get into heaven. And when your fear of Satan outweighs your love of God, we know who your leader is, don't we?
You can't get out of that facade of you think you know everything.
Right. You're at the limit of your knowledge, not even realizing that you this big and the planet's this big. You just because you're at the limit of your knowledge does not mean that's all the knowledge that is there. You got to break through, man. You got to break through. You got to keep pushing because there's always more. There's always more.
But don't they do this?
Well, not only do they do that, they just won't fucking do right. Just do right. How about this? Just do right. Do right the first time. Do it so right it hurt. Then you ain't never got to come that way again.
Because you're on to a different path then. Learning something else.
Do right. Instead of sitting on Facebook asking people to prove they shit, how about you go out and see if it's right or not? Why should I have to bring proof? I brought the information. You go find out if it's true. I'll tell people all day long, please do not believe what I say. Go research it and find out for yourself. If I'm wrong, please bring that information back to me. I need that. I'll be the first one to get on here and tell y'all, hey, y'all, I was dead motherfucking wrong. It's 15 tribes of the God, not 13. Can I speak on the tribes again? There are 13 tribes of the God. 13, not 12. There are 12 tribes of Judah.
But that's just under him.
But Judah is just one house of the blessed 12. And for some reason, the house of Judah is the only ones that seem to understand who they are. But then you're not really who you're supposed to be. You really culture vulturing. Because the house of Judah is sitting over in Palestine right now being kicked out.
Mm-hmm.
You want to talk about the real tribe of Judah? Walk your tail over into Ethiopia where they don't let nobody go. With them men that wear all white. They facial hair all white and they almost tar colored. Go over there. So God loved Israel and hated Esau, right? Well, let's put it this way. He who wins the prize usually writes the book. We have to understand, if a father is blessed, everything that come out of his loins get that blessing too. Somehow we tend to think God picks and chooses. No. God blessed David. Check this out. God blessed David, right? Right. But told David he couldn't do the one thing that David wanted to do, and that was build his temple. Yah told him he couldn't build the temple because he had too much blood on his hands, even though he spilled all of that blood in the name of Yahweh. He could not build the temple.
Because it was unclean. It would have been unclean.
Exactly.
So his sons could do it though.
Right. So the God blessed his loin and told him, but your seed, David, I will bless your seed to build my temple. People wonder why Solomon had all that wealth. Solomon had all that wealth so he could fulfill the loin prophecy that your child will build my temple. So he had to have wisdom. He had to have wealth. He had to have a conundrum of women from all around the world who understood the mystery systems from all around the world so he could build that temple with the knowledge from all around the world, because Solomon had a world wisdom. You wonder why he had so many women? That's why. But do not forget Sheba. Ooh, Sheba rocked Solomon's world. But I'm going to leave it at that. Sheba reduced Solomon. Sheba reduced Solomon to a trickster. That's how beautiful. That's how beautiful Sheba was.
He didn't use knowledge. He had to go into the pimpery.
Thank you. He had to pimp 101. He had to do pimp 101. His wisdom could not penetrate her at all. He just had to trick her flat out. But that's a story for another time. Y'all, this has been great. I just got on here to talk to y'all about making these blanket statements. When you make them, be careful. Be careful, because you're making enemies. You're making enemies out of people who want to be your friend. I done dropped 4 brothers off my Facebook page within the last half hour for blanket female statements. I am a female. And then backdooring it with, but Fee, you don't count. I got breasts and a vagina. I do count amongst the women. But if that's what you think about them, that's what you think about me. And I can't be associated with that. So it's best that we go our ways. You go your own, I go mine. We ain't know each other in real life. Facebook is a trip. But, bitch, I'm awesome in real life. Fuck social media. I love y'all. Be careful about what comes out of this. Remember, this is what makes the vibrations in this work. So, contingencies, similarities. Watch what comes out of your mouth, man. This is where your magic happens. Watch what comes out of your mouth, because the person standing next to you that you done just offended is probably the one with the keys to the knowledge that could elevate you like this. And just because you made that blanket statement, now what they could have taught you and you could have learned in 3 days is going to now take you 3 years to learn on your own. Your fault. You should have kept this bitch shut. Love y'all. You know, who is this? This is FundiFe. Y'all know I always got my ear to the street. My ear to the street. My ear to the street. Love y'all. Watch what comes out of this. Teach your children. Watch their mouth. Peace and blessings.